I am so excited for you guys to meet my girl, Brittany Michalchuk. She is incredible and honestly, probably one of the biggest hustlers and hardest workers that I know. The way that she cultivates and creates authentic, real relationships with people is like something I've never seen. I've learned a ton from her, especially how she uses Instagram to network and create connection with others. She built a successful marketing firm while she was completing her finance degree. From there, she began teaching about branding, how to master marketing and yourself online, social media secrets. She flies all across North America creating courses. She's a keynote speaker for many events. And she's just teaching all of these incredible marketing and branding tactics to honestly some of the biggest influencers and brands in the world for almost a decade now. She's really passionate about this stuff, and she's really passionate about helping and adding value to you as well. So I'm really excited. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Brittany, thank you so much for being on the show with me today. I am super excited for this chat we're going to have because I know you are going to deliver so much incredible value because that's just who you are. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Brittany, I was just actually talking about you yesterday, and I was talking about you to a good friend of mine and how I really feel like one of your big superpowers is your ability to network and connect with people. Biz dev. You're like a biz dev queen.
Yes. So it's important. It's so vital.
Yeah. And so I would love for you to definitely get into that throughout the episode. I would love for you to share some of your tips, tactics, and how you look at networking and business development. But before we get into that juicy goodness, I would love for you to share sort of your backstory. Like, where did your whole journey start and how did you get to where you are today?
So my journey started about 10 years ago. I started getting involved in personal development, doing the inner work, reading the books, working on myself, working on my mindset, my business, etc. And it started from a pain body. I think that's where a lot of practitioners and coaches and just impactful people kind of have come from is a pain body. And so mine was, I didn't have the results that I wanted in my life. And so I was very ambitious to be able to do what I needed to do to get them. So I just became addicted to knowledge. I just wanted to learn everything I possibly could that would be able to help me, that would be able to help advance my life, my career, my mindset, my mind, body, soul, and relationships. And so I just started learning everything I could, reading every single book, hiring specialists and consultants to help me just grow my skill base because it's such an important and vital skill set that is crucial to a happy, successful life.
So true. And it sounds like you're someone who's very resourceful. Like my experience of you is when there's something you want to learn, you figure out a way to become a master at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so can you share like that process for you? And also, where did you start with business? Were you, cause I know right now you're a high level coach for CEOs. How did you get to where you are today? Where did you start?
It started with personal experience. So it started with being able to cultivate the results that I wanted in my life. And it was just hard work. It was through doing the work. It was through consistency. I got here through dedication and just really figuring out my goals and focusing on them every single day. Like every single day is run by my goals. Like if something is not in alignment with what I want in my future, I don't prioritize it and I don't have time for it. And so it keeps me very structured, very focused, and very disciplined and allows me the momentum and the discipline to be able to achieve what I want. And through that, I'm able to help other people. I'm able to assist other people to create their own success in their business, life, and personal branding and marketing.
That's so awesome. And so do you write these goals down and what's your process like for that?
I start off in the day with gratitude. I think that sounds so cliche. Write in your journal with gratitude, but it just, your life is made up of the little moments. Your life is made up of what you do every single day. So it seems so trivial, but in the grand scheme of things, it's so important, so crucial to be able to set yourself up for a happy life is by practicing gratitude. So the first thing I do is really go over what I'm grateful for. The biggest highlights are my health, my wellness, my business, my tenacity. I don't try and be grateful for anything external because that stuff can all be taken away. I really go inward and figure out what am I grateful for that is concrete, substantial, and grounded. And then what I do is I start working. So I figure out my goals, and I really am in alignment with this higher purpose. So what I've done is I've chosen. It's not like people think, oh, I'm so inspired and I have this massive purpose and it comes to me, or these people are lucky. I choose into it every single day. I have a massive, massive, massive purpose for being on this planet, and I just dedicate all my time and energy into fulfilling that, into exploring and exploding my passions and the reason why I was put on this earth.
Such a powerful way to view life in general, that every moment you have a choice and you're not victim to everything that's going around you. You're actually incredibly powerful, and you make every choice that you want. And whether it's intentional or unintentional, some of us are walking around unconscious and we're making choices that we don't even realize we're making in every moment. And I'm sure, I mean, that's what happened. You attracted the results externally because of who you are being internally, which is really, really powerful.
Well, it's exactly what you said. It's choosing in consciously, because so many people are like, oh, I don't have this, or this person's lucky, or I just don't have the motivation. You don't get motivation. You cultivate motivation from the inside out. And it's a choose in, choose an event. It's having that mental discipline to be able to choose how you're going to see your perspective, because everything in life is just a perspective. Your life, yourself, your business, your relationships, everything is just a perspective. And when you learn how to control your mind and you are in control, you're in the driver's seat, you're empowered to have that choice of your perspective, it shapes everything. That's where you need to start. That's what you need to embody to be able to create a happy, successful life.
What would you say was the most pivotal moment for you in your life where you really created that mindset?
My low points. I think I talk about this a lot on social media, but I think people look at my social media, and because I have a large following and because my pictures look polished, they assume that my life is great. And people are like, oh, you're so lucky, and like all this stuff. And I'm like, you have no idea the pain and suffering and challenges that I had to go through and endure to get here. It's like the higher the level of success, the more challenges you have to go through. Because when you're playing big and you're putting yourself out there, the more criticism you have, the more opportunities you have for things to go wrong, the more money people pay you, the more they expect from you. If you're just having a 9-to-5 job, you have very little expectation and responsibility. But when you're selling high ticket coaching, you have a massive obligation to deliver. And so there's a lot of pressure in that aspect. And my point is that life isn't easy. You get that momentum and you build that character from the low points. And it just breaks my heart that so many people are like, I'm struggling. I have all these challenges and they're so bad. And they see their challenges as something negative. There's something beautiful that can transform your life, that can motivate you, that can build that momentum, because in life, you have a threshold and a pressure. And the harder you have to work, the more challenges you have to go through, the more the threshold potential builds up. And once you break through that, that's where you gain the momentum to catapult you to be able to achieve your dreams and go for the things that you really want.
I love that you're saying all of this right now, Brittany, because it's so true. I mean, when it hit home for me when you said some people look at these events or these, traumatic events that happen and they look at them as something that's negative, when truly all events are they're neutral. Every event is totally neutral. And it's all how we choose to perceive and respond and interpret each event. And I totally feel you on that too. My heart goes out to people. I was actually in an Uber ride today, and this man I was with, and of course, when you're in it, you're in it. I get it. We've all been there. And he just
got a divorce. His wife recently filed for divorce, and he's losing his wife, losing his kids, and he's going through that, right? And it's like, in that moment, I was so committed to being that voice for him, saying, this is happening for you.
Yes.
It's happening for you, whether you see it or not. Yeah, whether you see it or not, there's a gift in there, you know?
There always is.
Yeah.
There always is. And that's where you ask, like, what was the most trivial point? It's my rock bottoms. I have two that are very vivid in my memory. And through it, I just kept thinking, this is so horrible. This is so bad. Like, I don't wish this suffering upon anyone. And the thing that pulled me out of those challenges was being like, this is happening to me for a reason. Like, everything in life is a blessing or a lesson. And I was like, I'm so dedicated towards finding the lesson. I'm so dedicated towards pulling myself through this so that I can help equip other people to be able to do the same thing as well. And it's just the beautiful silver lining that I held on to be able to be like, what's on the other side. And they're just so transformational, because you don't grow when you're comfortable. You only grow through the uncomfort. When you're killing it, making a bunch of money, having an amazing life, things are perfect, you're not focused on growing. You're focused on enjoying. But when you have to go through those struggles, you're focused on, how do I improve myself so this isn't happening? And how do I improve my life? How do I set up new techniques, tools, and habits to be able to ensure this doesn't happen again? And that's where that growth comes from. That's where you see the most evolved, consciously, mentally, spiritually people is through that growth process. They're committed to that growth. They don't just allow external things to affect them. They really internalize it consciously and be like, how do I gain skills? How do I gain character? And they really use it as a catapult towards creating what they want in their life.
So true. And so you were talking about two painful moments, and you don't have to share the details of those moments, totally up to you. My question is around the breakthrough. What was the breakthrough for you? What was it around? And what was that like, experiencing the other side, getting through to the other side?
Three big things come to mind when you say that. One of them is confidence. The other one is being independent, and having, to be completely transparent, the financial means to be able to do what I want in my life. And the third one is strength. So those were the three biggest takeaways from my rock bottom: is confidence, financial independency. That's a new word that I just made up, and strength. And where I gained that was through, I experienced a lot of pain because I wasn't as confident as I could have been. And I believe two of the most important skills to foster in life are strength and confidence. And I'm a big advocate for it. I just know personally from my life, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. I think people are so, diverse in that. But for me personally, my confidence is the one thing that builds this armor around me to be able to overcome my challenges. Like, I've been Miss Calgary. I've been on national television. I put myself out there on social media in a big way. I have 100,000 followers. If you think for 2 seconds that I'm not going to have critics and haters, you are out to lunch. So what happens is, when you put yourself out there in a big way, when you have big goals, you have big dreams, you attract all this criticism. And if you don't cultivate authentic confidence in who you are, you will never achieve your goals, and you will never achieve the success that you desire. And so confidence, it's so important because it gives you strength. It gives you momentum to be able to tackle and to be able to really achieve the things that you want. So I'm a big advocate of confidence. I think that there's a fine line. You don't want to be cocky. You don't want to be arrogant. You want to treat people with kindness. You want to respect them. You want to be humbled to the learning lessons through everything. But confidence is super, super, super important in life, to just enjoy your life. When you don't like yourself and you wake up in the morning and you don't like the person that's looking back at you in the mirror, what kind of life is that? Like, I've been there. I have been there where I didn't like myself. And it was quite possibly the worst time of my life. And when I decided to become dedicated to becoming authentically grounded and confident in who I was, that's when things changed for me. That's when I started enjoying myself and enjoying my life. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very passionate about that. And the second breakthrough through my rock bottom was that independent, that I had to learn. I think that before this, I'll be completely transparent. I've had a very great life. And after this happened, I realized that things might not be as fluffy and full of rainbows as I used to think. So I just realized that I had to internalize every single thing in my life, and I had to be empowered is a really good way of putting it. I had to empower myself to be able to make decisions and think quickly and build resiliency. And the third thing is strength. And it's so important to have that strength. And I touched on it earlier, because without strength, you can't get through the day. You can't get through the month, and you can't get through the year. You need to cultivate strength inside of you to be able to overcome those hurdles.
Yeah, I love that. I actually resonate with all three of those. As you're talking, I'm like nodding my head. Yes. And I don't know if you know this, Brittany, I wrote a book called Magnetic Confidence.
No, I love that.
Yeah. And that is truly, I'm super passionate about confidence as well. And for me, it's a deep knowing. It's a deep knowing of your worth, of your value. And what you mentioned also is loving yourself, because as you said, you used to look in the mirror and you didn't like who you saw. I also went through that, where I would look in the mirror and I hated who I saw, and I wasn't accepting and loving myself. So on the other side of the token, it's like, how do I expect others to love and accept my authentic self if I don't even love and accept my authentic self? Yeah. Right? So
you can't. Mm-hmm. It starts from within. Mm-hmm. If people treat you the way you treat yourself, and humans are extremely intelligent. They can tell when you're confident. They can tell when you respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, people are not going to mess with you. They're going to show the same level of respect that you show yourself. It's this innate human sense that people don't even know. It's like this unconscious energy where when you show up and you're confident, people treat you like night and day different.
Mm-hmm. So true. So powerful. The way you show up is what you're going to generate around you. And yeah, I love that. I love all of it. And the strength thing for me, I think the way that you talk about strength is sort of how I look at courage, which they're very similar. So yeah, absolutely. Strength, courage, that resiliency, it's so important, especially, have you heard that Brené Brown quote where it's okay to be scared. That means you're about to do something very, very brave.
I love that.
I freaking love that quote. I just freaking love that. And that bravery, that courage, that strength to push through that fear is everything. And I know you do that all the time. I mean, you and I have shared privately, we've talked about things together, and we're very similar that way. And I love that. Yeah, we seriously are. It's so like everything that you're saying, I'm like, yep, me too. I love it. And okay, so this is what I really want you to talk about too, because we're gonna dive into your superpower now. Are you ready?
I was born ready, baby.
Okay, so Brittany, you have such you're a connector. You're a networker. You are so great at creating authentic relationships with people. And whether that's business, personal, I just see you as a very powerful networker. So I would really love for you to speak into that, your mindset around it, and then also the strategies and tools that you use, because I know you do a lot of it through Instagram, and I learned that from you, and it freaking works. I've shared it with you. It works.
Works. It's putting in the time and energy. And thank you so much. I really appreciate that you said that I have an ability to create deep, intimate relationships. And that really hit home for me, because that is something that I wanted so bad for so long. I felt like, coming from my past, being so bullied, I felt like nobody accepted me. I felt very different. I felt I didn't deserve an opportunity to sit at the table. And so I didn't have very close, intimate relationships with people that I respected and the relationships that I wanted. And so I just had a aha moment. That's probably why I have this immense passion for connecting people and networking, because I've never had that before, because I've always been doubted my entire life. The amount of people that doubt me based on the way that I look is insane. And so I feel like I have this extra layer to prove people wrong, to be like, no, women can be smart.
I so hear you, girl.
Women
totally
can
hear
be
you.
successful. Women can make money, and making money is an amazing, powerful, freeing thing. And it's so important. It allows you the ability to help people. It allows you the ability to create experiences in your life and grow your business. It's so important. But yeah, I think that's been a pain body, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. And so some of the stuff that I do is I build influencer masterminds on Instagram. So I seek out people that are very similar in this space in personal development. A lot of the speakers on the biggest stages in the world, the biggest conferences that happen year long, I connect with them, and I build relationships by doing one thing. I add value, and I rarely ask for things in return. So I show up for people. I'm like, how can I help you? So one of the things that I did, and this organically cultivated on its own, is I was like, how can I help serve you? Like, what is it that you would like? And people are like, I want to get on more podcasts. I want to get on more stages. I want to grow my Instagram. I want to just build my network. And I was like, awesome. So I created formulas. I've created systems. I've spent time on this to be able to help people achieve what they want. And then through that, you create a bond. You create a relationship. You create
Trust.
Dialogue. Yes, you create trust. And when you come from a place of service, I love serving.
Girl, I know you do. You are such a giver.
Like, help other people than like have people help me. Like I can do everything. Well, I think so. There's independence coming at me, but I feel like I'm the best life ever. Like I love my life. Like I genuinely love my life. I don't need stuff from people. I feel like I can really take care of myself. So I don't ask for things in return because I genuinely don't feel I need them, but I love serving people. Like one of my biggest passions is helping people and making people feel good. And so I think it also stemmed from that. I see these impactful leaders and I look up to them and I'm like, you've helped me so much through your teachings, through your books, through your podcast, through your speaking, through just showing up powerfully in the world as a leader and a role model. How can I help serve you? And so, yeah, I asked them what they wanted and I can deliver with what they want. And I just build rapport. I build relationships. And this is another thing that's really important is I am not scared of rejection. Like I've messaged people multiple times and they don't get back to me. Do I take it personally? No, they're busy. Probably ended up in their other folder. That's not going to stop me from building relationships with people because I build most of my relationships on Instagram and I'm just relentless. I'm just relentless on my pursuit of creating a life that I love. And these are the people I want to network with. These are the people that I love and I'm honored to call my friends because I've built these relationships through adding value. And again, that goes back to the one thing that I swear on is go out and add value to people's lives and see what happens to your life. 70% of the time, it doesn't get reciprocated. I'm not going to lie, but the 30% of the time that people actually appreciate the work and the effort that I'm putting into building this rapport, it's astronomical. That's how I get on stages. That's how I get on podcasts. That's how I've built my social media. That's how I create opportunities for myself. And it's just, you really get what you give off in the world. And when you're positive and you're outward focused, you usually attract those type of people and you keep those type of people in your network. So don't be scared of rejection. Understand when you're out there adding value, people are not always going to be adding value back, but you have to stay consistent with it. Figure out what type of people you want to network with, what type of friends you want to have in your life. I like heart-centered people. I like people in the personal development community because that's what I'm passionate about. So figure out what type of people you want to be around and then figure out most importantly, how to add value to their life.
So much juice in everything that you just shared, Brittany. So thank you for all of that. I want to review a few things for the listeners. So the first thing, because you zoomed through all that, which I love, because those listening, if she went pretty fast, you can just hit that rewind button and re-listen to it. And I highly recommend take notes, because there is a lot that Brittany's sharing. She's giving value, as she always does. So take notes. Okay. So the first thing I want to say, I want to acknowledge you, Brittany, because you transformed your pain into your purpose. I see that. It's so powerful. And you said that something you really craved was that intimate connection and just creating those relationships with people. And now you're one of the best at it. I mean, you are seriously insanely amazing at this. So, I mean, bravo to you for taking something that was a pain for you and transforming it into a power. Like, this is something that you're super powerful at. So I just really want to shed light on that, because for those listening, if you have a pain point, pain is an opportunity to transform into purpose. It can be your platform. Your pain can be your platform. And you have demonstrated that. And it's a beautiful demonstration of how powerful that can be. And I will attest to your whole giving value. That's how you and you were like, so as soon as you and I met, Brittany, I don't know if you remember this. You're probably not surprised because it's just who you are, but you were all about, I want to help you. I want to help you. How can I help you? I felt that from you.
It's my greatest passion. Like, of course, like, you know, you get and you give, but I don't know. It's like, it gives my life purpose. Like, I don't understand why I would be put on this earth if it wasn't to help people.
Yeah, I love that. And so one of your tactics, and I know you use Instagram, you're just Instagram queen. So you've created these masterminds. Can you speak into a little bit of how that works if anyone listening is interested or wants to learn more?
Yeah. So these Instagram masterminds for big influencers, impactful speakers, and successful entrepreneurs have truly been a godsend to me to help my business and help me grow my network. Because when you want to connect with these people, like some of the most successful people in the world, why should they notice you? Like, some of these people I've built connections with have millions of followers. There's thousands of people that want to connect them. Why would they want to connect with you? So again, it comes to that value point. So you have to really figure out, how can you add value? So one of the things that I've done to be able to add value is connecting people. Like, that's my big value add. And so I just send messages. I'll find people. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I'll go through people's stories. I'll see who's tagged in them. I'll kind of like research them. I'll go through their Instagram. I'll kind of see what type of feel they have. I'm very big on one thing, and something that really runs my life is integrity. Integrity is one of the most important words in my life. It has to do with myself and everyone around me. If I don't feel an integrity, I can't look at myself in the mirror. When I don't feel an integrity, I'll be transparent, I feel like a piece of shit. So I always have to maintain integrity in who I am. And I will absolutely not keep people in my life who are not integral human beings. So I, first of all, try and decipher if they're a person of integrity, because I also do a lot of marketing. I help people grow their online brand. I help them so much in the sense of building themselves and their business, where I don't want to empower the wrong people. That defeats my entire purpose for being on this planet. And so I really want to empower the right people. So I find people, I do a little bit of research on them, and then I'll send them a message and be like, hey, these are some of the people in my mastermind. Would you like to join it? And some of the masterminds, actually, it's really interesting. I have about 5 or 6 now. And some of them range from like people with like 10,000 followers to like 100,000 followers. I'm really focusing on connecting people with 100,000 followers to 1 million followers. Some of them are very interesting. Some of them are a little bit more quiet, and some of them are like super active, and they have like a very big family feel. And people have got on podcasts from each other. People have got on each other's stages because of this. People have built connections. People meet up in person because of this. And I want to grow with it. I eventually want to do in-person meetups. I'm planning an event. I have so much stuff in the works, but so I create these masterminds, reach out to people. Lots of people don't respond. Some people are rude, actually. Did I take it personally? Heck no. No, you can't take things personally. You just have to keep going, keep moving, keep working, and just figure out what your goals are and keep crushing them.
And I love that. It's so important because for a lot of people, that fear of rejection stops them. It stops them in their tracks. And I get it. Like, I get it. I've been there. However, just like we talked about earlier, traumatic events, the experiences happening in your life, rejection is also in and of itself a neutral event because we choose, like you had mentioned this earlier, you're not letting that affect who you are. You're not letting that change the way that you perceive yourself. And that's what I feel happens is sometimes people will get rejected. It hurts. They let it hurt. They let it in, and then they let it mean something about them when really it's all about the other person. It's always all about the other person. It's not about you.
Yes, and that's so important. You cannot let other people and external things stop you. Everybody wants success. Everyone wants a happy life, but they're so concerned with what people think. Mm-hmm. Excuse my French, but screw what anybody thinks of you. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Is that going to affect you? No, not unless you allow it to affect you, because life keeps moving. Life keeps going forward. But one of the biggest things that I see that holds people back is they care so much about what people think about them. And then they don't do shit because they're stuck in fear of what will this person think of me? Will this person accept what I have to offer, accept what I have to say, accept how I have to show up? Who cares? Just keep going. It's one of the biggest things I see hold people back. And it breaks my heart that it's just a simple mindset shift. It's just literally being like, I'm choosing. This is a choose and choose out event, like everything. Like, I am no longer choosing to allow other people to affect how I see myself, period.
Amen. Preach, sister.
It's powerful. It changed my life. The biggest reason why I didn't start coaching is because I come from a different background. I used to own a promotional company. It was extremely successful, one of the busiest promotional companies in Calgary. I was doing my full-time finance degree, just crushing life. It was pretty crazy. And the group of people that I used to hang out with was very different. And so I allowed this fear of what would this specific type of people, which I don't even value their opinion, to be quite frankly, especially not now. But why am I allowing this group of people to stop me from what I was meant to do in my life? And once I broke through that fear, I just lit my entire life on fire.
Yeah. Like, have you heard that thing about how crabs, when you have two crabs in a, yes. And then they pull the one, if one tries to escape, the other one pulls the other one down.
The story I heard was multiple crabs. When one of the crabs tries to go out of the bucket, all of the crabs try and pull it down. Yeah. And so it keeps them all stuck, and then they all eventually die instead of helping lift each other up over the bucket to be able to get towards food and water.
And that's such as you said, like you were with a certain tribe, right? There's different tribes of people, and some of them have that sort of vibration where they want to stay stuck in that low vibing place. And anyone who starts to rise, it makes them feel uncomfortable. So then they try to pull them down with them. And it's really important to realize when you're in those situations, for anyone who's listening, if you want to rise and you want to shine and you feel like you have to keep dimming your sparkle and dulling your light, then you get to really check in and say, hey, what really matters to me? What's my purpose? Because that is not supporting you, your purpose, and your mission on this planet. And the beautiful thing is when you rise, when you do choose to rise, regardless of what your friend group or whatever says, you will begin to attract a whole new tribe of people.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
It's so true.
Because you're more in alignment. Like the tribe of women I have here, I'm in Cabo right now, with two amazing women, and the word tribe keeps coming up. And I feel like I've worked so hard to be able to build my tribe, and it's taken patience. It's taken understanding and compassion, but it's so powerful to know that you have these women that support you and love you unconditionally. And I just feel so comfortable to just show up myself. And I feel so confident to open my mouth, which, to be very transparent, hasn't been easy for me because I used to be fearful that what I said wasn't of value. Or
yes.
How is this going to land on people? Or am I going to be too confident and rub people the wrong way? But I'm also sure as heck not going to dim my sparkle. And I do show up I'm a very intense, passionate person. It's a little bit challenging for some people that are not with a similar mindset for us to sometimes really get along. So sometimes I say things and I'm going to be very transparent. I offend people, but it's not leaning into that fear. And when you have that tribe of women, it's so beautiful, just really embracing who you are and them embracing how you can show up. And my point of this is you have to build that tribe. I have spent so much time and energy building this tribe. This tribe people just think, oh, tribes are just attracted to you. No, you have to go out there and consciously build them. Again, I'll share some stuff that I've never shared before, but I was battling strained vocal cords on and off for a year. And we finally figured out what was going on, and I'm pretty much fully healed now. But I spent almost a year of my life on and off in isolation. There was actually a point where I couldn't speak. I couldn't leave my condo. I remember looking out of my condo and watching these people walk by laughing. And I couldn't speak at that point. It was a blessing again because I had to work in silence on and off for about a year. So I really was able to create a massive amount of success in my business. And so to come from that, to be able to connect with people now, I feel like a kid in a candy shop because I'm like, I can talk now. Like I wasn't even able to date at one point because I literally couldn't talk to people. Like, do you want to create a relationship via text? Like that's not going to work.
So Brittany, I just really want to acknowledge you too for sharing so vulnerably. So thank you so much for sharing that, because I really do believe in the power of vulnerable storytelling. And someone that's listening right now, whether they can relate directly to that story or not, there's always a way that you can relate indirectly to a vulnerable share. So thank you so much for sharing your heart with us.
Oh, thank you.
Brittany, we're sadly nearing the end of the episode. However, you have delivered so much immense value already. It's crazy. So it's been awesome. But yeah, so I would love to our listeners, what's like one takeaway that you really, really want them to get? And it could be something we've already talked about or something you haven't said yet, but what's kind of coming to you now that you really would just love for our listeners to take away from this episode?
Well, maybe I'd like to touch on something that I haven't, and that is, maybe I touched on it a little bit, how important it is to build discipline and a strong, rock solid, unshakable work ethic. And I think that it's actually one of the biggest problems in society today is people listen to podcasts and they read books because they want the secrets to success. And the truth of the matter is there aren't many secrets. You know what you need to do. You're just not doing it. You know you should be waking up and working, but you're not. You know that you shouldn't be putting shitty food in your body, but you're not. You know that you should be spending more time learning and reading and growing, but you're not. And so this was a big paradigm shift for me. This is what transformed my life is I stopped trying to get the answers. And I just started getting shit done. I stopped trying to ask people, what are the secrets for success? And I just started working till midnight. And when I changed and I shifted that in my mindset, man, I started getting what I wanted. I started creating an epic life. I started creating financial freedom. I started reaching this new level of confidence because of the results that I was cultivating in my life. And it is a direct result of my happiness.
Ooh, powerful. And it's so true. So many people want the answers before they do something. But the thing is a lot of times you don't get the answers until you do it. You just got to take the action.
It doesn't appear until you're ready.
Yes, exactly. Yes, action and momentum. It's all about taking action and building that momentum. Mm-hmm.
Action. Everyone talks about action because very few people are taking it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the key ingredient that you need to get shit done is take action. But it's just, people procrastinate, or they're stuck in their insecurities, or they're stuck in their fear, and they're just not doing what they need to do. And then they look at these gurus and these successful people and they're like, why don't I have those results in my life? But then you look at their daily routines, and their daily routines are not in alignment with what they need to do, who they need to become, and how they need to think to be able to create the success that they desire in their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for a lot of people, it's a fear of failure. And what I'm really realizing more than ever, especially this past year, is actually aim to fail. Like keep going, like aim to fail, because guess what? Failure is a huge indication that you're an action taker, that you're actually moving, you're making moves, you're being brave and bold.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I failed? Do you know how many I've been speaking for almost 5 years, but if you think 5 years ago I had any idea how to put together a sentence, articulate my words, create smooth concepts in motion? Absolutely not. I had to fail for years and years and years to be able to finally feel confident and articulate when I opened my mouth. And that's just one specific aspect. Everything in my life that I feel I'm good at, I started sucking at. I failed at in the beginning, but I kept on with the persistency. I kept on with the discipline. I kept on with that work ethic and that tenacity that didn't allow anything to stop me. And eventually I bust through my fears and I got good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. You came out stronger every time. Every time you failed, you came out an even stronger, bolder, more powerful version of Brittany.
Aim to fail. Aim to fail. Yes. Girl, a powerful, stronger, bolder version of Ashley. That is how you've become the woman that you have, is through trial and error, and is through failing. So thank you for failing, Ashley. And thank you for learning and showing up and keeping on going.
That's what it's all about, sister. I'm with you. Mm-hmm. And, I want to say, Brittany, thank you for taking the time from your vacation. I know you're at the tail end now. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here and join me on this podcast episode and just share all of your knowledge and all of your wisdom and provide all this value to us. I really appreciate you. I know our listeners are appreciating you. So thank you so, so much for coming on. For our listeners, where can they go to just connect and learn more about you and chat with you, all the things? Where do they get to go find out more about you?
Please add me on Instagram. My Instagram is Brittany Michalchuk, BrittanyMichalchuk. So send me a message on Instagram and say, I found you on Ashley's podcast. And show me some love and I'll show you some love back.
Yay. Awesome. Brittany, you are amazing. And I'm so happy we made this happen. Thank you so, so much.
I'm so happy we connected. I know we've been meaning to, so to be able to connect has been a real treat. So thank you.